Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you're listening to us, you're watching us. This is another exciting and very insightful, I can promise you, edition of the Life of a Preacher's Kid talk show. My name is Rudy Funwie, and again, thank you for being here. And I want us to take some time and share this broadcast. And I want us to take some time and invite people in. And while we do that, I want to, as always, give a special shout out to all pastors' children in every region of Cameroon. That's starting from the far north to the north, to the Adamawa, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the northwest, to the southwest, and of course to all pastors' children in the littoral, to all pastors' children in the center. God bless you all for hanging in there. God bless you for being here with me, because I cannot be here if you're not out there. And of course, a special shout out to all my lovely PKs from different countries, different continents. We love you. I see there's so many um private messages you send me, and I want us to do something special today, right? Let's share this broadcast until everyone is connected. If you know a pastor, share this broadcast and have him or her connected. If you know a preacher of any category, this is Life of a Preacher's Kid for those who spread and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, especially those who stand on our pulpits on Sunday. So if you know any of them, tag them to this video, call them to come watch. Tag as many pastors as you know to this video. Also, let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know where you're watching us from. I'll take some time off and I'll share this video while we listen to a little snippet from Prod Gide. He is a gospel musician based, a Cameroonian gospel musician based out of this country in Dubai, and he's been doing an amazing job. He's started his music career and he's really pushing. Let's listen to one of his latest releases, and then we share the broadcast as much as we can. When we come back, I'll talk about our guests for today, like we saw on the flyer, and then we'll talk a little about the topic and we'll bring the guest on. So let's listen to Prodigy.
L'élu de mon cœur, we go to the leto. Papa, mama, sister, let's go for the celebration. Elle me rend fou d'amour, je suis l'homme le plus heureux du monde. Okay. Papa God, you today bless me, oh. Today is a brand.
So if you want to have content from Prodigy, just go to YouTube and you type Prodigy and you're going to see the song and his other songs. Thank you, Prodigy, for partnering with us. Thank you for answering the call of God over your life. Actually, that's a song dedicated to our Christian brothers and sisters who have tied the knot. It's a beautiful day and it's a special day always for them. And for those who are about to, that song still is for you. It's celebrating love. It's celebrating the things God has done for us. So have you tagged pastors yet? Let's tag them. Preachers, PKs become preachers, PKs still becoming parents, or PKs who are parents already. Please, let's tag them to this video, because today we're talking how to raise godly PKs. I said something recently when I was about making the show, talking about the show of today. And if you are already on this broadcast, if you check our description, you're going to see that there is no parent, I think. I don't know if I've ever met any parent or any child of God who is a parent, whether pastor or not, who does not ask him or herself, what do I do so that at the end of the day, I have godly kids? Tell me, Personally, if you're watching this, I know you've been asking yourself this question. And we live in a society where we have third and fourth teachers. After you and your spouse, there are teachers whose voices are louder than yours. That's the teachers on the internet. And unfortunately, for a lot of young people, they tend to listen to the voices of the trends and the things out there. And sometimes it is conflicting to the information that we want to portray as in our homes, as pastors, as PKs, as generally. So today we are looking at raising godly PKs. How? Why? What can I do? Getting the experience of our guest, what he did and what he is doing, because he is still in that process of sharpening, of pruning his skills. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest on the show today, he's so many things. I'm so impressed by this man of God, because that scripture that says, study to show yourself approved. That's the kind of person we have on here today. His name is Nangah Lemuel Azibo, Pastor Nangah Lemuel Azibo. He is the pastor, or the lead pastor and general overseer of City of Christ Church, Wisdom Chapel. And this church has been existing maybe a little years after he received the call in 2008. He is a graduate from the ENS. That means he is a trained teacher. He also has a diploma in ministry from the House of David School of Ministry. In 2011, 2013, he had a master's degree in theology from the Solid Bible College. In 2013 to 2016, he had his doctorate in theology. And he's been running mission works, and he's been working with the Abundant Grace Foundation before launching his church, City of Christ. And he is the CEO of the K7 Business Network. And that network involves the Abundant Grace Foundation. It also has King's Kid Nursery and Primary School, and he works too at the St. Elizabeth Health Center, Sisia Cooperative Credit Union. He is trained as a business consultant with the UN. Ladies and gentlemen, people, the PK community, please, can you put your hands together if you are disposable to clap? Can you shout? Whatever you can do to celebrate and welcome to this set, to this show, The Life of a Preacher's Kid, Dr. Pastor, super businessman, teacher, Pastor Azibo Lemuel. Please, you're welcome to the show, sir. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It's everything to have you. This means a lot to me. It's everything to have you on the show. Thank you for coming.
All right. Thank you very much, Sister Rudy. I'm happy to be here. I was smiling because I was surprised how you got to know a lot about me, though I'm not hiding, but I was surprised with you reading, recounting my biography and a lot of things about me. I didn't share that with you, but I'm still wondering where you got those information from.
That means I did my homework well, right?
Yes, I think you did your homework very well. You did your research very well. That's why I was smiling, because yes, I was surprised, and I was still wondering how you managed to get those things and where you got them from. Okay. I'm happy to be on the show, and I count it a privilege to be here to share my ideas, my opinion to the general public, and I pray be a blessing to someone, at least just one person watching us, following us. I pray be a blessing to that person.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. Reverend John Neba, I can see you. Vershi, I see you. Geraldine Forber, I see you. Thank you all for being here. Paul Hour is on the show today. Thank you so much, Grand Frère, for being here. That's my big brother from time. Um, I did my homework, right? But I guess we want to know from the doctor himself. If you would describe yourself, let's say in 5 words, what would that be? Who is Dr. Nangah Lemuel?
Let me try to describe uh, myself in 5 words. I would
Yes.
say Dr. Nangah Lemuel Azibo is a young man with a big vision, not just for the family, not just for the community, but for the world at large, especially for Africa in particular.
Mm, that's nice. I see a lot of passion, like a young man with vision for the world at large. That's someone with wanting to take over the world. That's nice. That's
Especially for
inspirational.
Africa, especially Africa. I have a passion, a burden for Africa
Oh,
in particular.
okay, that's great. Please,
Yes.
when you come in, let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know where you're watching us from. And today, our topic is quite timely, and it's quite necessary. And I believe that somebody will leave here with a changed and a transformed and a renewed mind. I need not
Man.
I feel like I need to always say this. Life of a preacher's kid is more than a show. It's not just us coming here to talk fine for ne, like my Nigerian brothers will say. No, we are here to impact. We are here to bless lives. We are here
Amen.
to lend our voice to those people who do not have a voice, and make a change in this circle of people we find in the church community.
Yeah.
I see my brother Kengo Elliott on the show. Thank you so much for being here. As you keep joining, let us know where you're watching from so that I can appreciate all of us for coming. So now, Dr. Nangah Lemuel, um, if I know today we're talking about raising godly PKs, but as a pastor, what would you say is your greatest fear when you look at your children?
My as a pastor, my greatest fear when I look at my children is for them not to fulfill their purpose. Yes, that's my greatest fear. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's my greatest fear for them to miss their purpose. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have another fear, which is their lifestyle out there. Yeah, how they present themselves to the society and how the society perceives them. Yes, yes,
Okay, so few days ago, I was going through your Facebook account, and I saw something that marveled me and got me thinking. I saw this little paper, and according to the post, it was a note from your little boy, and your little
yeah,
boy called you his idol, called you his mentor, and at the end of it, he said, "I would like to be a pastor because, because of you." I'm paraphrasing, and
yeah.
that got me thinking a lot. First of all, kudos. It means you're doing well. You're doing something which is right, and your
Thank you.
children look up to you. And you know what? Out of the so many things you do, the only thing he could pick up was that he wants to be a pastor. So, um, how would you say that note made you feel?
Okay, to be sincere, when I saw the note, I was actually surprised, and then I was happy. Actually, I was happy, and that's why I could publish the note. Yes, I was
Mhm.
happy because yes, when I remember, I think it should be a year behind, also it's about 8 months behind. he used to feel bad when the kids in the children's church call him pastor, pastor. So the other kids used to, some elderly kids used to make him feel like being a pastor is a bad thing. So he kind of had a resentment being called a pastor. So I noticed that, and I realized it was because of the kind of friends, kids that he was surrounding himself with at that moment. They were elderly kids, some of them about 14 years, and he was too young to interact with them. So I actually kept that off. So then I didn't want to force him to like being a pastor, because if he becomes a pastor, there's no problem with that. But I didn't ask God for a pastor when I was asking God for him. So my vision for him is not to become a pastor. Yes, but if he becomes one, there's no problem with that. So it was not a problem with him not liking to become a pastor. So but when I saw that note, and which I believe that's what came from his heart, and I was happy, because it means that he saw something good in the pastoral work or being a pastor without anybody forcing that on him, which actually made me happy. Yes, which made me happy and proud. Yes. So actually, I felt happy. I felt so proud.
Oh, it's really it's my first time hearing a pastor say, I did not have intention of my son becoming a pastor. I mean, you're a geo. Most geos look for legacy, they look for, like, in their sons, they look for the person who will take over and all of that. So it's really
Yeah.
surprising to hear that as a pastor, you really did not wish for your son to become a pastor.
Yeah, and let me say something. Yes, let me say something in respect to what you just said. Yes, being a Geo or being a senior pastor, I'm not trying to be a personal empire. I'm simply rendering a service to God and in my own days. So if my son has to grow up and become a pastor, he mustn't be a Geo, and he's not the one to take over me. God can appoint anyone. It mustn't be somebody related to me by blood to take over me tomorrow if I'm not there. So I don't really see it that way. Yes, I don't see it that way, because I'm not building a kind of a personal empire that maybe my biological son or daughter has to take over if I'm not there tomorrow. No, it's the kingdom of God we are building, and tomorrow if I'm not there, any other person worthy of the office can be there.
Mhm. All right.
Yes.
So we're talking about raising godly PKs.
Yeah.
Raising godly PKs. What do you, in your opinion, because this is a scenario, a lot of people, or a lot of pastor children, when you look at them and you look at their fathers, you can say they fell far from the tree. What do you feel, or what do you think went wrong? Before we start talking, maybe how and the things we can do to raise healthy PKs. When you look at most of the PKs today in the society and the stories we hear about them in the church, in their actions, in the things they do, what do you think actually went? What is going wrong? What are the parents not doing right?
Okay. I from my own perception, because I had to do a kind of analysis. I didn't really actually do an interview, but I did an observation, and I realized that those homes where, let's say, the parents are pastors, maybe the father is a pastor, and that is the only thing he does in life. Now, the truth is that being a pastor is not really a job that you can really say you can earn a good living by, except now you are, except we know there are Pentecostal pastors now that actually they make a good living from pastoral service, but being a pastor in the mainstream denominations, you realize that you don't earn a lot of money that you can earn a good living for yourself. And most often, the struggles that goes on in the pastor, the financial challenges, financial struggles that goes on in the pastor's house, it affects the children. And so at times, even the pastor becomes a mockery in the society, because of maybe he can't wear a good shoe, he can't wear a good dress. And, that mockery at times is being extended to the children, which the children, they grow up in such an environment, they don't feel proud being the child of a pastor. They don't feel, they don't feel secure being a child of a pastor. And with that, some of them go out or they go extreme to find some security for themselves and whatsoever, and that's why actually most of them go astray.
Mm-hmm. Um, I know of a lady. Her mother is a pastor actually, and her parents got to be separated because her mother had there were some challenges and her parents got to be separated, and that wrecked her entirely. So are there any other things that of course cause are there other things apart from the financial hardship that may cause havoc in the upbringing of a pastor's child? Can you hear me? Oh, it's like his video is frozen. Before that happened, he spoke to us how he wouldn't want his household to have monopoly over his ministry. That really touched me because the truth is so many pastors today pressurize especially their first sons to become pastors. And this okay, can you hear me now? Oh, he's frozen again. Oh, and this has led to a lot of havoc and has led to a lot of crisis, especially
Crisis,
in the Church
especially
of Christ.
in the church.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I had an interruption with the network. So, but I think it's back.
All right. So before that interruption, I asked if there are any other reasons apart from finance which you mentioned that that can havoc the growth or can cause a pastor's child not to be godly and all of that.
Yes, yes. Also, the lifestyle, apart from financial challenges, the lifestyle of the pastor, because um, I would say that in the past, you see pastors trying.
Oh, we have a network interference. I pray he comes back. But if you've been on with us, okay, he's back. He's back here.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you 5 of 5.
All right, I was saying that apart from the financial challenge, also what I realized in pastors' homes that most of the pastors, because of their vocation,
Mhm.
they don't feel comfortable. I mean, relating socially. Now you see most of them, maybe even the pastor and his wife, the social part of their marriage may not really be one that maybe the children can admire, because they are trying to to prove a degree of holiness, a degree of righteousness. Let me put it that way, which actually at times hinder their social interaction. And kids growing up, they like to have fun, and if they can't see, maybe it's like the home, you can't have fun in the home, you can't relax in the home, it actually affects the psychology of those children. And some actually will not like to be a pastor, or like they are not happy being a pastor's child. So it's not just all about the finances, the interaction also back at home, yes, matters a lot.
Can we something I realized there was a comment you said on the note with your son, and you said you are happy that he has been learning your actions. He has seen
But I
you
didn't hear
in
you.
and out of pulpits. You did not hear me. Should I take it again?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I said I the comment we were talking about, or the post we were talking about earlier of your son when he wrote a note and stick it on his wall since he wanted to be a pastor. Um, there was something you said. You said um you feel that your life in and out of the pulpit has actually inspired him to want to live and to serve the Lord. So what is your take about the pastor's character at home?
The pastor's character art. At
Yes,
home?
at home. Yes.
Okay, yeah, the video was scrambling a little. Okay, when it comes to the pastor's character at home, yes, it's very important because um your children will relate with you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yes, your children will relate with you based on your character because character builds relationship. Yes, character builds relationship. So your children will relate with you based on your character. Now, for example, let me use my own case.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, naturally I'm a simple person. I'm not a difficult person, and I'm a very patient someone. So when I let's say when I come back home, I I give place to the kids because normally I don't need to scare them. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. So I don't need to scare them. Now, if my character is one that will repel them away from me, then they will not be able to learn anything good from me. Now, so
Mm-hmm.
based on character, your character should be one that will attract them close to you because if you actually have something good that they can learn from you, they will learn that by being closer to you. So actually, by my temperament and my character, actually it actually attracts them closer to me. That's why they can talk with me, they can play with me, they can ask me any question that they like to ask, and I'm going to give them answer. Actually, I actually listen to them when they want to talk because even though they are young, they are small, they are kids, I believe that they reason, they think, they can also come up with things. So actually, when they are talking, I'm patient to listen to what they say. I give them
Mm-hmm.
time if they have to talk, and then
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to even playing with them, I actually interact with them, which actually it helps them to learn a lot from me, not just from what I'm saying, but from how I live and what I do.
Mm-hmm.
For
Okay, so
example, if I
let's
have to
talk.
go out of the house several times they'll ask me, where are you going to? I will tell them where I'm going to and what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like my life is kind of accountable to them, which actually it makes them to learn a lot from the way I live and from what I do, even more than what I say.
Mm, mm. That's very important. Letting your child learn from what you leave more than what you say. Um, okay, so let's get into the main course of today. How, like, like I know there are parents here, there are pastors here, there are preachers here, there are elders here, there are pupils here as well. How do I raise a godly child?
How do you?
Raise a godly child.
Okay, okay. How you can raise a godly child? Well, I'm going to share maybe from a practical experience. I'm going to share. I will not go philosophically. I'm going to share what is practical, which I think I've implemented and it works. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Before giving birth to children, actually, I raised people's children. There was a time I was
Mm-hmm.
staying with about 13 of them, and
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot from interacting with those children. So from there, I was able to develop a kind of a hypothesis,
Mm.
which I tried and it works, and which I'm going to share here for those who can learn. Now, when it comes to raising godly children, now the first thing I will say is that whether they be your kids or somebody's kid that is with you, the first thing
Mm-hmm.
you have to do is to love them. I mean, love them. It should not just be an action you do, you portray. I mean, from your heart, they should have a place in your heart. And if actually they have
Mm-hmm.
a place in your heart, your action will prove that. And
Mm-hmm.
truly, if you love them, there are a lot of things that you're going to do for them and with them that they will get to understand how much you love them. For example, I take my
Mm-hmm.
children out. I take them to recreational grounds. They play there. They spend hours there. I do that once in a while. Yes, I take them out, they play, they have fun, and then I take them back home. Now, you see,
Mm-hmm.
those are some of the things that when you do, the children will actually know that you really care about their happiness, you love them. And even when it comes to correction, how you correct the children, you don't correct them in anger, you correct them in love. So there are many things you do. And now the things that they like, even something that you know is not good for them, the way you take it to turn it down from them, the children will know whether actually you love them or not. Now,
Mm-hmm.
why is it important to love children? To portray that you love them? Because you realize that as the children are growing up, they begin to compete. It's like there's a competition going on between your love and the love of the world out there. Now, if you as a parent, you can't be able to prove to your children enough that you love them and you care for them. Now, when they go out there in the world out there, they will find people that will tell them they love them and try to prove that they care about them. And when they begin to compare you and their love, and they see that maybe your love is weaker, they tend to lean to those out there. And now those out there becomes their instructors in life, and you may lose control over those children. So that's why the first thing you have to do is to actually love them. Love them, because everybody loves to be loved. Everybody
That's right.
feels happy, feels nice when loved. So if you actually show them, because several times when I sit with my kids, they say, I love daddy, I love daddy. They say that actually because there is a bond between them and I, and that bond is coming as a result of how much I love them too. And that I tell them I love you, but actually they know that I love them. And actually,
And
even the
they
little
can
girl that I have,
see it.
she's just 4, but she knows that there's some things I cannot do to her because of the love I have for her. And she's confident about that. And you see, now making her to know this, or her experiencing this love and growing up in this love, she gets to understand that I love her, and that will actually make her stick closer to me. And if she sticks closer to me, it becomes easy for me to instruct her or instruct them at any time. So love is the number one key. I mean, it's something that's very, very practical. Yes, you need to really demonstrate to the kids that you love them and that you love them so much. Then the second thing that which I'm doing, or which I think parents should do, is to create a safe environment for your kids. Not every environment is good for your kids, especially when you are molding them up, when you are bringing them up. Now, what I mean by safe environment is that your kids are not supposed to interact with any kind of person. Yes. You create a kind of environment. They like interacting with children, they like interacting with their peers, which is true and is good. But you need to create a safe environment for them where they will interact with the kind of children that you appreciate. Yes, they interact with the kind of children that you appreciate, and so that they'll be able to say, because children learn from their peers. They pick a lot of attitudes from their peers, and which for you to you have to create a safe environment for them as they are growing, which means that if they have to go to school, they go to a school where they will learn the right habits. If they have to be in the neighborhood, they interact with children that they will learn the right habits. Actually, I allow the kids to interact with other children, but I make sure that I restrict the kind of children that they interact with, because if they interact with the wrong children, they'll pick up wrong habits from them.
That's
For
right.
example, that my son, who is 8 years old, so about let's say about 8 months behind, the same friends which I said elderly friends, he began interacting with them from the children's church. I realized that the children had a habit of picking things without permission. So growing up, he had never taken something without permission. So I realized that when I kept money, one day he came and picked 200 francs, and then he went with it and then came back. I knew that is not his habit. So when I called him to find out, he told me that the children actually asked him to take and give, and which he took the money and gave to them. So what I did was that I simply kept him off those children. And the moment I kept him off, I realized that he didn't do that. He did that twice, and I realized that the moment I kept him off, he couldn't do that again. And so you need to create a safe environment for your kids. Yes, yes. You need to know, restrict the kind of children that they play with at this tender age, because they can pick any habit from their peers. So you create a safe environment for them. That's the
Pastor,
second
now
point.
let me just hold you a little. We continue on that on this point, but this second point just brought. I keep getting myself. Maybe you check your volume. Do you have another device you're using? If there
No,
is
I don't have
another,
another, because it's maybe I don't know what I should sign out and sign in again. Maybe it will change. If you permit me
oh,
do that.
okay, maybe you just do that quickly because I keep hearing myself in the background. But let's ask the audience if it's okay. Maybe it's just me. Do you keep hearing my voice echoing in the background? Please let us know so that we can have perfect sound for you. Um, Neru says this second point is strong. Liz Dop is here. I greet you. She's played a fundamental part in my life, in my upbringing. Thank you, mommy, for bringing here. And she says, create a safe environment. Carrying it here. She says, create a favorable environment. We have Folkham Daniel says, great for kids to know you love them, not telling them only. And as a blessing, God bless you for being here. Grace for you. She says, we all love to be loved. That's true. Very true. I feel I still hear myself in the background, but nobody has commented on that. So maybe it's fine. I was saying that um I was saying that
Okay,
your
I
second
think,
point.
yeah, somebody just commented that your voice is echoing. I think let me sign out and sign in again.
Exactly. I heard that too. I kept hearing the echo. Maybe you do that. Okay, while Pastor does that, I'll take on the comments and then he will come back and be with us. Neri says competition between your love and the love of the world. Deep. I love you all for being here. Um, Love them by Liz Dog. Malens accepts the point of love, of knowing that your child loves you. And this is a very powerful and important point. I must accept this. Growing up, I knew without doubt, like my mother was a very strict person and she was a disciplinarian, but I knew for a fact that she loved me. I I did not doubt her love despite the way she was strict and orderly and all of that. I never at any point doubted her love. Why? Because she showed me severally that she loves me. In fact, not just by her words, her actions. I watched her work tirelessly. Like I watched her work day in, day out just so that I could just so I could have a comfortable life. I'll see her at very early hours of the morning. These are things that sometimes parents neglect and parents put at the background and don't take it seriously. You just tell your child by, your verbally, I love you, and your child cannot really see any tangible proof of your love. So I believe that today that will work well. And as Pastor tries signing in again, his second point about creating a safe environment that brought the concept of restriction from those from friends or people you feel that or things you feel which are not safe for your child. I was about asking Pastor about teenagers. Teenagers do not like to be restricted. Those in puberty, they don't like to be restricted. So maybe when he comes up, he will give us tips or things we could do. Or if you're in the audience right now, maybe Liz Dobb could say something about that, what you can do in order to create a safe environment for your teenage PK, for your teenage child, for your child undergoing puberty. And I'll continue taking those comments right now. Blessings, yes, your voice is echoing. I think that came from the pastor and he's handling that. Um, Jude wonders. Ah, Azum, Robavin Azangu, thank you for being here. The CEO and boss of GUTV is here as well. The fivefold ministry is purpose driven with multiple abilities to create impact and wealth. We just need to learn how to diversify our talents. Thank you for that. I feel that maybe some people in the audience, please talk to us about what you can do to create a safe environment for your teenage child. For the younger PKs, that's really easy. It's something very easy. What about those who have teenagers, who have young adults? How do you create a safe environment for these people? Personally, my experience I don't want to talk for my parents, but I feel like this is what they did. They became so involved in our lives. They knew friends. Like my mother would check to the last letter, the last person on your list who is your friend. Not necessarily because she wanted to send them away, but because she wanted to just be involved. She knew where all of those people I call my friends stayed. She knew all of that, and she too, the struggle to become my friend was real. When I was in my teen years, my mother did everything to become my friend. I feel like those are ways that you can help your teenage child. You can help your teenage to be your teenage to have a safe environment. Oh, pastor is having serious difficulty coming back. I pray that he keeps trying and he gets to get back into the life. I want to talk about the importance of having godly or raising godly PK. You know that parents turn, or pastors, ministers, we turn to have Christians by assumption in our home because they were born in the gospel, we had devotion, and they heard it every day. We assume that our children have a relationship with God. Somebody cannot be godly without a relationship with God. So, parents, I feel like from a very tender age, make this effort. Make this effort to 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 get to your children, to let them making sure that they are truly born again, not by assumption, not because they go to church all the time. Have you ever taken out time to preach the gospel? Not the sermon of discipline or the sermon of sin, the gospel of Jesus Christ to your children, to your kids, one on one. Do you follow them up as you follow the Christian up in church? Like, or have you entrusted them into somebody? Maybe you may say you want to play just a parental role in the life of your child. Have you entrusted them to somebody whom you think can do that? These are things that we have to look into. These are things that we have to make sure that we follow through. Pastor is having difficulties. Oh, the pastor has serious network issues and he has difficulties. It's proving tough to join the broadcast again. Pastor, I hope you keep trying, and would definitely let you in whenever you can. Okay, Liz Dobbs says, for me, restriction for children is good when the children are below 12 years old. When they are above 12 years old, we direct them and let them make choices and we guide them. That is amazing. That is amazing. Truth. The truth is, when a child is above 10 years old, to me, when a child is above 10 years old, it is really, really hard as a parent to say that you can restrict, because there are so many places where you are not with them. There are so many places that you are not there to see the things that they do, like when children are below that age, sometimes they are always with you, your eye is always on them. But when they become teenagers, they are off for school. Sometimes they're in boarding houses, sometimes they are in different places, different environments, away from you practically. How do you restrict them then? It's true, the best way to do is to guide and direct them. And she also says, when a parent guides and directs children above 12, they will learn from their mistakes and take precautions the next time. They will learn from their mistakes and take precautions the next time. Before, in a few minutes, we have to wrap up the show. It's quite unfortunate that Pastor could not join back into the broadcast, but we promised that we would bring Pastor on again so that we could finish this discussion with the pastor. The network is not letting him get back into the broadcast. I'll take on some of those messages again. I'll take on some of our messages again. Liz, okay, I think I've read that by Liz Dobb. And thank you all. Usually we have Live of a PK every Tuesday as from 3 p.m. and it's a weekly broadcast. So please, every Tuesday, set the alarm, set whatever you have to set. And of course, we're going to Grace Follow says you have to trust that what you taught them in the younger years will stay with them throughout. That's very true. Very, very true. It's quite difficult for parents to bring themselves to that place of trust, but I believe that with the help of the Holy Spirit, if you did a good job at the younger ages, if you did a good job at the younger years, then you would have to trust that the Holy Spirit will help you in doing that good job, will still be with them right up to the end of time, if I can say so, will still be with them. And like I said, it's important, parents, it's important. The spiritual health of your child is very important. Do not assume when they are children. Make sure that you build this foundation of relationship with God. Build that foundation of relationship with God, and they will not go out of it. They may stumble sometimes, you have hiccups along the way, but they wouldn't. In those ages where you have to guide and direct them, they wouldn't go out of it. Thank you so much for being on this broadcast. I hope you learned something, or you took out something today. Personally, for me, is the message of love, the role of love in raising godly PKs. God bless you for being on this broadcast, and see you tomorrow at exactly 5 p.m. Geraldine Forber is going to be live with Witty Moments. On Thursday, we're going to be having the Leading Woman Season 2 with the outstanding charisma. And again, on Sunday, we're going to be having Let's Talk with Karen Ebad Karen. She's the new face on Ablaze TV. And we're going to be keeping you, giving you enough information, updates of things happening in the globe, in the gospel society. And we trust that you will stay here with us. Let's grow together. Let's build this community together. Subscribe if you haven't. Click on the notification bell. Follow and like our pages. God bless you for being on this live broadcast. Thank you so much. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Liz Dobb. Thank you, Our Paul. Thank you, Funkam Daniel. Thank you. I think this is. Thank you, Grace Follow. Thank you, everyone who was part of this broadcast today. If I did not mention you, I still love you. Thank you all for being here. GUTV, thank you for your support. We grow in the kingdom together. And please, next week on Tuesday, we'll be here again with more blessings on the life of a PK. I promise we're going to bring back Pastor Lemuel. Network could not allow him to talk to us. He had prepared a lot to talk to us, but we're going to bring him back on the show. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
L'élu de mon cœur, we go to the leto. Papa, mama, sister, let's go for the celebration. Elle me rend fou d'amour, je suis l'homme le plus heureux du monde. Okay. Papa God, you today bless me, oh. Today is a brand
light of the world, see the set on the hill, they throw shade and see shadows. Found out we can be hid. The word I sit on foes is a lamp unto my feet, a light unto my path. Darkness is found beneath light. Illumination, clarity and refinement. Define to me success through the help of sound judgment. I'm the light for as long as I live in this world. John 9 verse